Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Paul, 10th Man, Righteous Force and Flatzoid in G+. How are you all doing?
Doing good.
Wonderful.
Good morning.
We're also joined by a whole bunch of people in Discord, so a warm welcome to all of you as well.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, hello. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Jordan.
From Jordan? You've been to Jordan?
Yeah. Yeah. I list all the places I've ever been to.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked.
Not from Guatemala.
Love it.
Not from Jamaica.
Jamaica?
Yeah, I went there this last year. Remember, that's how me and my wife decided to have another child in Jamaica.
It's a lead-in for a joke. I go, Jamaica, and you go, no, she comes on her own.
Oh, I got you, sorry. But we are going to call our new baby the Jamaica baby.
Jamaica baby. Love it. Any signs of axial rotation?
Not the Earth-based type.
Nope. Yeah, we do have signs of axial rotation.
Lay it on us.
We see the sun rise and set. That's proof of axial rotation.
That's proof the sun rises and sets. That's the sun.
Yeah, so that either means that the sky is moving or we're moving. Which one is?
Well, you've already told us. You see the sun moving. That's what you told us. Am I missing something here? That's what you've just told us happens.
You're not missing anything. I'm just trying to figure out why we see that happen. Is it because Earth is rotating, or is it because the sky is rotating?
I don't know.
Said it.
The sun and moon move. So obviously, logic.
Is that it?
Why is that logic?
You just said it. Why don't you take your own answer?
Because it could be either of two things. It could be either we're moving or the sky is moving. So
How would you figure out?
Would I figure it out?
Let me finish. What secondary way can you test to affirm an answer if it was us moving or the sun moving?
I could just look at it. I can't prove it with a scientific method, but I could just make observations looking at it.
You're not following my logic here. You've already looked at it. You want to ascertain if it's you moving on the Earth or if it's the luminaries in the sky moving, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't bring in the scientific method. I said, what secondary test? Test, not scientific method. So what secondary test?
could either use a ring laser gyroscope or a fiber optic gyroscope to measure degrees of precession.
Well, no, you don't even have to do that. This movement of the globe lie is 1,000 miles at the equator, 860 miles at LA to Charlotte, North Carolina latitude. And if the Earth was moving, take a flight back from Charlotte to LA. It should take 1.5 hours because the Earth is moving underneath you. Since it doesn't, ergo, the Earth is not moving, the sky is moving.
Okay, I've got to step in here. So, Babs, I don't know if you've watched the last few shows. I've said I wouldn't allow this to happen. So what I'm going to do, as you're a friendly, is just take you back a couple of steps. So we started with you asserting that you watched the sun moving, but then at some stage you introduced this idea, this concept, that it could be Earth that's turning. So I'd like to first establish where this crazy notion would come into play for you to want to start comparing what you see with an assumption that Earth might be turning. Where did that come from in the first place? Why would you suddenly assume that you're physically moving rather than watching something move being just it moving?
Why would I think that? Because of programming, it's like the same way that 98% of people think that we live on a globe. It's because they've been programmed to think that. So mainstream science says that we live on a rotating, spinning Earth. So that's where I got it from.
But that's also incorrect. But that's also incorrect. You're saying mainstream science, but during this conversation, you tried to take it to, I don't have scientific evidence, and 10th Man pointed out that he hadn't asked for that. So we were devoid of any science until you told me that science told you that, but they haven't told you that. Science definitely hasn't provided you with any evidence of Earth rotation. That's for damn sure. Perhaps that's where the question should be rephrased now that we understand the intricacies of the Coriolis effect and how first we must have this crazy notion that Earth might be spinning. In other words, this comparing whether or not you'd have Earth rotating to move the sun or the sun moving in the sky, that first notion is the assumption that we need to compare to this concept that Earth might be moving. But that therein lies the problem. From there on in, all examples that you give me, Coriolis or otherwise, will start with that presupposition. It's a begging the question fallacy. The Coriolis just is a nice segue over the fact that at some stage between you saying I see the sun moving, you've got this insertion of a idea that Earth's moving. Preposterous though it may be, we then work on discounting this notion. No, I'm not going to work on discounting a notion, and furthermore, I'm not going to start with the notion as the base of the premise that's being challenged. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to start potentially asking for scientific evidence, because we're given these tests, these ring laser gyros, as you said, that are seeming to purvey the idea of scientific validity. Same with Foucault pendulums and measurements to massive degrees of accuracy with bullets. Or whatever, I don't care. It all sounds scientific-y to me, so I'm going to start asking for scientific evidence of Earth rotation.
Wouldn't it be, though, Nathan, along those lines, we do have the makings of a scientific hypothesis. We have an observed phenomenon. The sun moves across the sky. So we could say, well, what's the cause of that motion? Well,
Earth turn. That's what I'm saying. Prior to the point that we have this idea of something that is only conceptual, that you could potentially call an independent variable, but prior to the notion that you need to compare it to that idea, there's no reason or rhyme to looking at something moving and going, is it me moving? When there's no signs or anything to indicate that might be the case. Nothing beyond your presupposition. So when you get into, well, what's causing this, that and the other to drift, if it's a pendulum, or move in its reference frame if it's a gyro, whatever they say it's doing, to prove that there's this effect based on their idea and conceptualization that the Earth's turning, well, that's a begging the question fallacy straight off the bat. Now that we've figured that out, given that they assert that Bob Nodell has proven it scientifically with the ring laser gyro, I'm more than happy to start rephrasing the question of axial rotation to scientific evidence. If this is a valid cause and effect relationship, the effect being the sun's moving, the cause being Earth turning, then that's cause and effect. This absolutely falls within the realms of science. So I think this needs a rephrasing to draw a full stop to this bullshit of begging the question that Earth turns at every single example we get presented with. I'm going to start rephrasing it. Any scientific evidence of Earth rotation?
Well, and along those same lines, to manipulate your independent variable, which would be the Earth rotation, you'd have to stop, speed up, slow down Earth rotation to prove that's the cause.
Not
correct?
my problem. I don't care.
I know, but that's what would have to happen, you would think. You have to manipulate your cause.
Like I say, I'm not formulating a hypothesis based on a conceptualization of an Earth that's turning. Nonsense. Especially when it's sat in a vacuum in a region like Narnia that doesn't exist, called outer space. I'm not in the slightest bit interested in comparing this conceptualization to the actual reality of my motionless Earth. It's preposterous to start assuming that we're moving and then trying to explain phenomena that is claimed based on man-made equipment like ring laser gyros, and then have it under the banner of science that's proving a conception is real but doesn't actually affect things in the way that those ideas like Coriolis would actually affect things. If you've got two separate reference frames, as 10th Man pointed out, you'd have the Earth rotating underneath aeroplanes and helicopters and drones, and we don't. So that immediately pisses all over any notion that we should even entertain the idea of Coriolis being a proof, and the ring laser gyro is another demonstration of Coriolis' claim to be an effect on Earth. Horseshit. I'm tired of begging the question that Earth is rotating, only to move on to a man-made device that seems scientific, to claim the presupposition, when formulated into and affirming the consequent, is what we actually experience when we don't experience a smegging thing. I'm not moving. It's utterly preposterous.
It stops at observation. Straight.
Right, okay, let's go with the thing of the Earth is flat and we are not moving, yeah? And the sun rotates around the flat Earth, yeah? So why is it that you guys can go out and with a powerful camera or a telescope, zoom in, pull things back from when they went over the horizon, but yet I can't go out at night with a powerful telescope and see the light coming from the sun?
I don't know.
If the Earth was flat, it doesn't matter how far away that sun is. I might not be able to see the actual sun itself, but I should see the light that it illuminates, because it illuminates half the Earth at one time.
Hold on, we kind of do see the light, though. The light comes first, then comes the sun.
Sorry. Sorry, just before we go on, what is this item we're talking about, Highlander, exactly?
It's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's
talking.
pitch black here.
Sorry, I heard your claim, right? Highlander. That means somebody's going to eventually respond to you. We heard. We're not deaf. So do you want to let us respond or not? Are you just going to talk continually?
You were on mute.
Right. So what exactly is it we're discussing here? What is this magical light in the sky, Highlander?
The magical light is the sun.
Yeah, what is that? What is it?
Saying that it's not there?
What is it? I didn't ask whether it was there or not. It's patently obvious. I'm asking you what it is, so then we can assess what it will do based on what it is. If you don't know what it is, this seems like a silly conversation because I don't know what it is to study the effects of what it is, because we don't know what it is, unless you can tell me what the sun is.
Right, we know what it does. It illuminates the
Did I
Earth.
ask what it does? Are you deaf? What is it? Not what it does. What is it?
It's sun.
It's what, sorry?
Right, so your answer to me not being able to see the light from the sun, which we know it emits, yeah?
Sorry, did those words cross my lips? Did those words cross my lips? I did not say that. Sorry, I did not say that. I didn't say that, Highlander. Are you deaf? Sorry, don't build up a little straw man about what I've said when I haven't said it. That's not what I said. Why are you building up this little straw man to burn? I didn't say those words. I asked, why is someone in G Plus constantly moving around on their mic? Ruining my audio. Whoever it is, pop yourself on mute, please. Highlander, I asked a question, what is it? And you've strawmanned me about what I haven't said. I haven't said anything about light reaching us. That's horseshit. I've said I can see it, it's patently obvious, and I've asked you what it is, before we start assessing what you believe we think it does and representing some strawman bullshit about lighting up half the plane, which nobody here is claiming.
Right, okay, so your answer to my question is to ask me a question about what the sun is.
We're defining terms.
Why won't you answer my question
We are
first?
defining... He just ignores me. He's an asshole. You asked a question, I gave you an answer. We're defining terms. Are you going to acknowledge the words I've used or just continue with the thing that's going on in your head when you ignored what I said? Do you know what that means, defining terms? Do you understand what a debate is? Do you understand what I've said? You've gone silent. You talked incessantly after I responded. Now you've gone silent when I ask you to actually address the bloody words I've used. Defining terms. Do you know what that means?
Right, so why can't I see the light at 2 a.m?
Oh, so he's now on to long silence and ignore me again. I'm asking a direct question.
No, that's because you're ignoring me.
It's an explanation for why your claim has been met with a question. You're going, oh, you can't just ask me a question. Yeah, we need to come to terms about what specifically we're talking about. I can't talk about an orange if you're meaning apple. Shut up!
Holy shit.
Shut! You're stupid. Alright, I'm going to remove you, Highlander. Highlander, I'm going to remove you, you asshole. You're fundy muting me.
It comes out every day.
You are fundy muting me, you asshole. Can you stop it? I'm explaining to a dumbass, you, that we are trying to come to terms. I understand what we are talking about before we debate it. Now, you've said the sun. I've asked you what that is. If you say unicorns and I say what are they, I expect you to tell me what they are. Not say, oh, I don't have to answer any questions. Right, that's it. Bye-bye. You asshole. You asshole. You cannot listen. You can't listen. Like you didn't listen when I said define terms, you're still talking through my explanation. This is called a debate. And during... Oh, it's so tiresome to listen to...
When I shut up,
fuck
to
you.
let you talk.
Fuck you. Get out. Fuck
You say,
oh... Fuck you. That's what we get. He says, you're not allowed to ask me questions. Yeah, I am. We are defining terms. Perfectly reasonable in a normal debate. We want to know what the hell we're talking about. The sun, not your question about how we see the light that comes from it. What the hell is it? The answer, he hasn't got the vaguest clue. We can't define terms because we don't know what it is. All he can do is parrot off his nonsense rhetoric about what it is in a sphere world, in a bloody vacuum, a second law of thermodynamics violation, according to his bullshit sphere belief. That's all he's got. So we can't come to terms on what the hell it is. I would say I don't know. He would say it's a burning ball of plasma in a fucking vacuum. Yeah? So are we going to come to terms on what it is we're arguing about or not? Clearly not. End of argument. But he doesn't want to. He wants to strawman the shit out of us about how much it lights up the plane, presumably based on a model he's seen from some other wanker flat earther who tells you that's the world, with some bloody lights dangling over it. Yeah, we don't do that here. We are far more professional in our debating. We come to terms, you stupid moron.
Next.
Okay, so you tell me what the sun is then, Nathan.
I'm asking you, you're making the fucking claim.
It doesn't matter. And debating about it is Nate's way of trying to distract us all from accepting the information from the original question.
He can't shut up. That's his second chance. I'll give him 3 strikes and then he can just fuck off altogether.
Fuck you. Hey, 3 strikes me now, bitch. Fuck you. You can't.
Stop swearing, please.
Go back to the original point.
Which one? Yours about Coriolis or about the sun?
About the sun. Do we need to know what the sun is to observe what it does?
What it does? He's represented that it lights up half the plane, and as a flat earther we should see it at distance. Sorry, what should we see? Oh, my bad, we don't need to know that.
I mean, I'm not basing it off of his straw man. I'm just saying, like...
Sorry, for his argument, Babs, would it make a difference, for the sake of argument, if it was a magical pixie that could vanish altogether at will, versus a burning ball of gas in a vacuum violating the second law of thermodynamics. So if I say to him, well, because the sun is a pixie that can disappear, and he'll go, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, you can't just say the sun's a pixie. Wouldn't it be more reasonable, rational and normal to come to terms about what the hell it is before I just say it's a pixie that can disappear, that's why you can't see it? Would that be unreasonable for me to just arbitrarily define what it is later in this discussion? Or should we come to terms, Babs?
Well, I mean, it is reasonable to know what it is, but we can also...
That's why I asked. That's why I asked. Didn't I ask that? It is reasonable. Well, he didn't think so. He thought it'd be more pertinent to just rumpus the hell out of me and ignore me when I pointed out that I'm asking him to come to terms. He just ignored me. There was a long silence, followed by a whole load of bullshit spewing of nonsense about what he wanted to argue about, having not defined what the hell we're looking at.
Get it, Highlander? Are you listening to what Nathan's saying right now?
One thing I don't understand, though, is how can they keep making claims what we should see and you don't even make sense?
There's no point. That's what he does. When there's a question that he can't answer, all he does is hurl abuse and mute his opponent.
I asked you to come to terms. I did not hurl abuse. There was a long pause after my question that did not get answered. Then you carried on track, ignoring me. What are you saying I shouted you down and muted you for, you lying fuck? No, I asked you if you understood what coming to terms meant, and there was a long pause. Not because I shut you up, because you don't have the slightest clue what you're doing here. You don't know how to debate. Coming to terms, as I've just explained to Babs, and he's asked you if you understand, is reasonable. Now you've just lied and said I talked over you, shouted at you, because I couldn't answer a question. No, you projecting piece of shit. You couldn't answer my question, hence the long pause. Do you understand what coming to terms means?
Right, okay, let's come to terms. So the sun is, according to you, a light in the sky.
How fucking dare you? I haven't defined it. I'm asking you to, so you're immediately going to strawman me. I made it explicitly clear only about 30 seconds ago that I would say I don't know. Now he's telling my audience what I think the sun is. What an outrage! Do people not appreciate why I get so pissed off sat in this chair? I've asked him to define what the sun is, and what he's done, having not listened to me say I don't know what it is only 30 seconds earlier, told my audience what I think it is. So what, you're clairvoyant now? You mystic Meg, can see into my brain, even though I've literally verbalised that I don't know what it is.
Right, so how can we come to terms if you're screaming and shouting that you don't know what it is?
I'm asking you. Oh, you're the one making the bloody claim. Are you insane?
My claim is that I can see it in the sky. That's all.
Oh, well, who gives a shiny shite? I can see it in the sky too. So what?
Right, so that we can agree we both see it in the sky. Yes.
What is it?
What?
Long protracted silence. Of course, because I want to come to terms about the bloody thing we're looking at, and when I ask what the hell it is, long silence. What is it? What? The sun.
I just spoke. Why are you screaming about a long silence when I just spoke?
No, there was a long silence. What is the sun?
For the purpose of the question that I asked, it doesn't matter what the sun is. It could be somebody up there with a giant fucking torch.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. You've defined it. It could be someone up there with a big torch. Go on, make your example.
Right, so at 2 a.m, when it's pitch black here, why can't I go outside with a powerful telescope and see the light that illuminates?
Okay.
If the Earth is flat,
excuse me, is that not the end of your question? Excuse me, I don't need your straw man about what we think. I don't need the answer that you think we've got, you stupid dick. So why did you keep talking about what we think it should do? I'm about to answer you. Why do I not see it? I'm about to answer. You just need to shut up. So based on what you say the sun might be, the guy holding the torch has got two torches pointing in different directions. Does that satisfy you, dick brain?
But if the Earth is flat and not moving, it doesn't matter what direction that torch is pointing.
Did you? Oh, he didn't listen. What a dumbass. What a dumbass. He didn't listen. What a dumbass. He literally didn't listen to my answer. Based on your explanation, the guy has got two torches. Based on what you said. Silence. So fucktard. Would it not matter?
The sun is doing,
hello, moron. Would it not matter that we know what it is based on you saying it could be a guy with a torch? Torches being fairly easy to come by, and he might have even two torches? Well, this sounds like horseshit. Wouldn't it be more important to know what the fuck it is first, rather than saying it could be a guy with two torches, like you have?
Well, like I said,
it doesn't matter about what it is. It could be a guy with two torches, even though I can unpick his question by saying he's got two.
Holy shit.
Yeah, your question makes no sense because we haven't come to terms. And I can say it's a magic pixie and can be in two places at once. If we don't know what it is, my baseless assertion that it's a pixie should presumably satisfy this absolutely retarded line of questioning.
Right, so the fact that you don't know what it is, does that make any difference to the fact that it illuminates light?
Sorry, what? We can see a light in the sky. That's what your claim is. So without your straw man fallacy about what we think it does, you've basically got, we see a light in the sky. That's your argument.
Well, the sun comes up and it illuminates.
Yeah, so your argument is we see a light in the sky. That's your argument. We see a light in the sky. Is this it? Is that the strength of your argument?
No. See, you're deviating away from the question because you know you can't answer it.
No, that's what you're doing.
Sorry,
right now.
what is the question? What is the sun? No, that was my question to you. Based on your spewing of a load of nonsense about what the sun should be doing and how we appreciate its beautiful light, I asked you what the hell it was. So what is the question to me? You don't know what the sun is. Yeah, I asked you that question.
And I pointed out to you for the purpose of the question that I asked, it makes no difference what the sun is made of.
Oh, really? Well, it's made of a magic pixie. Oh, game rumpus, my own panel. It's made of a magic pixie that can vanish and appear wherever it likes, because it doesn't really matter what it is, and it can be a magical pixie in this example.
We observed that the sun rises and
So we're back to your claim of we can see the sunlight. Yeah, dipshit, this isn't a very strong claim. Can you shut up now? Sit back down, you Dumbo. Sit down. Shut up. Us seeing the light in the sky is not a claim of anything. This is garbage. Waste of time.
So now you're denying that the sun rises.
No, I'm not, you stupid idiot.
And set.
No! Did the words "I deny the sun comes up" come past my lips before I kick you out? Did those words cross my lips?
They didn't have to, Nathan.
No, fuck off. Didn't have to. What, you can just make up what I say? Yeah, he's off to rob a few more banks, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to tell us he's a thieving fuck. We just know he's a thieving fuck by listening to his voice. He's off thieving, ladies and gentlemen. I know, he doesn't need to say it. He's a thief.
So,
any scientific evidence of gravity?
Of what?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity.
Of a concept,
Nope.
no way.
No scientific evidence of gravity, no.
In order to get a scientific evidence of something, first you actually have to figure out what the phenomena is. And I don't think that the ballers really know.
They don't even know what observation is of it.
Yeah, they know what to call it, but they don't know actually what the phenomena actually is supposed to be.
Falling, you're just falling. It's gravity.
Julio Pabon from the Super Chat says, not from Peru, Puerto Rico. I could read. Before we go on to scientific evidence of gravity, then, this has been a nice little pause. I'll shout out Aidan. Is it Aedan? Thank you very much for the super chat. Feeling generous and would like to congratulate you on more than 1,000 episodes and for a growing family. Thank you for all the hours of content and rewiring my worldview. Once you go flat, ... Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Is that some kind of joke?
Yes.
Must be.
I see it as a joke, yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Chocolate.
No.
Good morning,
Chocolate,
Choco.
What's up?
Hey, Cacao.
Already cover proof for Earth curve.
You can go on to it again if you want to. You've got some more? Any evidence of Earth curvature?
I can't hear anyone anymore. I'm going to have to rejoin. I'll be right back.
No worries, Babs. Well, let's rattle through the others. So, is there any viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, astrophysics, or cosmology in their entire history?
I have yet to run across a viable scientific hypothesis for either of those fields.
So, Wakey, big shout out to him. Thank you very much for shouting me out in your excellent piece and your undercover interview with an astrophysicist, I believe. Yeah, that's right, Nathan. He was great. Yeah, isn't Wakey brilliant?
Who was the astrophysicist?
I don't know her name. I can't remember. Anybody know her name?
Paul should have some details.
Probably.
Hey, was that the last question? Last housekeeping question?
No, there's a couple more.
I've got some background noise, so I'll drop the link in the Discord.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to rattle through the rest of the housekeeping questions, Babs? Was that a subtle hint? Not Babs. Righteous.
I didn't say
Can
anything.
you guys hear me now?
We hear you, Babs. We heard you before, but you just couldn't hear us.
I just can hear you guys. I have another one. I have proof of Earth curve.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Why can't we see Polaris from the southern hemisphere? Why
That's a
can't we
question.
see it?
What's Polaris? What is Polaris exactly?
No.
It's a northern star.
Oh, what is it though?
And what is a hemisphere?
Okay. I think I
We're
get it.
going
there.
The
I see
inability
where
to
this is
see
going.
light is proof of physical geometrical curvature. Is that what you're proposing?
It's already been
So-
caught and it's begging
That
the
is what
question.
I'm proposing,
I was
yeah.
going to leave that till later, but whoever it was in the Discord server that just caught him immediately and blurted out, good on you, because you're right. What's a hemisphere again? What's Polaris? Here we go again.
I mean, I see where this is going, but why can't we see it on any model? It doesn't matter what the model is. Why can't we see it?
I don't know. If I knew what it was, I might be able to give you an answer.
Star.
Yeah, I know what we call it. But what is it?
A light in the sky.
Okay.
What's the distance, Babs?
I've no idea. He doesn't know either. We don't know the distance. We don't know what it is. Explaining why it isn't visible from beyond a certain.
What's the original question?
But beyond, you're saying why isn't it visible beyond a certain latitude point? But until a globehead comes along and affirms the consequent and presupposes that you're travelling antipodal to yourself and beyond a certain point on a presupposed spherical surface, you wouldn't be able to see it because the Earth gets in the way. Well, unless you actually affirm the consequent with that nonsense, you're never going to get to the point where this light in the sky not being visible from a certain point is going to prove anything.
We should be able to see it on a level plane, but we don't.
See what again?
Where should we be able to see it from?
Hold on. See what again? What is it?
Should be able to see. We should be able to see the light in the sky on a level plane, but we don't.
From where?
Hold on. We're whistling past. We're whistling past it and arguing about it anyway. I see. Sorry. What is it? How big is it? Let's calculate how big this light. I mean, you haven't specified what type of light or how it's being produced, or the lumen level, or the size of it, or what lens it's being projected through. None of that. We don't know what it is yet. But apparently we just shouldn't see it. I don't know what it is, or how big it is, or the distances involved. So if you can give me some of that data, I can calculate when we should and should not see it. But you're just saying it's a star. Not really that helpful for calculating how far away we might be able to see it from. Maybe the size of it. Do you know how big Polaris is? Maybe you could give us that first. How big's Polaris? Go.
I actually don't know that, and you're 100% right that in order to be able to calculate the angular size over distance, we would actually need to know the size of the object that we're looking at, as well as the amount of light that it's emitting, which I don't know.
Well said.
But yeah, that is
define
something.
angular size. You're all.
I didn't hear that last part.
He asked you to define angular size specifically. Hey, QE. Good to have you.
Hey, good morning.
Can you define
Angular size off the top of my head?
Just one word we're looking for.
I'm just trying not to talk over anyone right now, but angular size is, off the top of my head, is the size that an object in the distance appears to be versus its actual size.
Not versus its actual size, it's just the size it appears to be.
Yeah.
Apparent size.
Because it's not its actual size.
What is the actual size?
That's a bit of a problem. See, what I need to be able to calculate how far away I can see a torch bulb is to know how big it is. Because if it's only a few meters away in pitch black, it might look the same as a very powerful halogen headlight on a car or on a motorcycle, say, that's maybe a quarter of a mile away. But unless I know how big it is, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, correct. And I think that applies to the sun as well, because I was a little bit confused about that. If we don't know what the size is or what it is, we can't know what's going to happen to it over distance.
You bugger. That's where I wanted to go with Highlander. The little sod wouldn't let me.
Right,
yeah,
right. I can see what
Babs.
he was trying to say. He was saying that we can observe the sun sort of traversing in an eastward direction. So he was trying to conflate that with rotation, but we don't really know what's happening. It could be either the sky is moving or we're moving.
Sorry, we're back to that again. That's where you came in last time. I said, well, why would you make that assumption that we are moving? Where would this crazy notion come from for me to suddenly start defending that it's not that? Other than you just saying that it's the Earth turning, what possible reason have we got to presuppose that?
Why would you even presuppose that the sky would be moving?
Because we see the sun moving.
But that's just light. The lights are moving. The sky seems to be perfectly still.
I can justify it because you can see a pattern of all of it moving when it goes dark. So that I can justify. I see it all moving in what seems like a nice tight circle. Well, okay, fine. I can see that moving. That's self-apparent. But in terms of saying, well, no, that's happening because I'm moving.
The stars moving in the sky at night, night after night, year after year.
Right.
And there is
I
no
wanted to emphasize
change in how the stars move. But your position on the Earth, your position on the Earth dictates where you see those stars move. But relative to each other, their distances from each other does not change. Now, if we were on a flat plane, that wouldn't make sense the way that we see them in the sky.
You see, that's
What do you mean if? You can't talk about the stars, mate, because they'll just ask what they're made of and shit like that. And
he can mute me, but he won't be able to address it. It doesn't matter what they're made of. And after a certain distance, someone had mentioned parallax. If you're not getting a significant amount of parallax between the stars, then it doesn't matter at that point how far away they are. It would be different if
God,
the
hold on a
stars were
second,
close
my
enough
friend.
to where you were getting a
Hold
lot
on.
of
Someone in
effect
G
between
Plus
the
is ruining
stars,
your
at which
discussion.
you would have to wonder how far away they
He's
are.
not listening to me.
In order
Someone
for this
you're not
conversation
listening.
to be
No
resolved.
one can hear you. Hello.
Stop interrupting. You
Hello.
can mute
I'm
me.
trying to make
Stop
sure that you can be
interrupting or mute me.
heard.
Stop interrupting or mute me. Which one you want to do?
I'm trying to explain.
What ends
I'm
up
trying to
happening
explain
is-
something
what ends up
to you.
happening is
I'm trying to explain something to you.
99.99%
My God,
of all
these
the
people are so
stars are
fucking
so far
unreasonable.
away that there's no.
Yeah, I've got to literally mute him. So whoever in the G Plus
Nathan
is,
is rumpusing. How dare he?
excuse me, somebody in the G Plus panel is causing horrendous feedback, so I can't hear what he's saying. Now, even though this wanker literally wouldn't let me correct the audio issues that were stopping people hearing him, he wanted to rumpus the shit out of me for me to take control of the production of the show. Because obviously him talking incessantly when no one can hear him because somebody in G Plus can't mute themselves, that means that he has to talk non-stop. What a complete asshole. Let's just make it concise for the guy who wouldn't shut up. Somebody in one of the other panels hadn't closed their mic and was causing feedback. Therefore, we couldn't make out what you were saying. I appreciate that you feel that any interruption needs to be shouted down and you continue to talk indefinitely, even if there's an audio issue being caused by someone else that isn't me or you. Now, I do need to control the show, and if I ask you to shut up, you do. Feel free to carry on.
You got your audio problems fixed? Did you fix your audio problem?
Who is this?
A prick.
Who is this, Nathan?
Sorry, why are you asking me?
Or not? Because
So
I don't
let's
want
just
to
pop
have
him on mute
another.
again. Asshole. I don't need advice on how to monitor my show. I just need one of my guests, in this instance you, to shut his mouth while I try and correct a problem with my show. That show problem, that is mine, would have been corrected instantly had you have shut your mouth. You just didn't want to. You told me to stop interrupting you when I run this show. So when I say shut up, shut up!
The only way you'll get me to do that is to mute me. So
Yeah, I realise I have been. I've got no choice. I realise.
Now,
I
I'll be on
realise
your
that.
other disc-
Yeah, let's do it again. I appreciate that you are assholes. And the only way I can maintain control of my own show is to physically shut you up with a mute button. Now, I appreciate that I have to do this when you decide that you're going to take over my show, which will never, ever happen. Now, telling me that the only way I can shut you up is to mute you is to tell me I don't know how to control an asshole who can't shut his mouth. That would be you. Now, if you don't like running by my rules, you can just sod off. I'm not desperate to have you here, asshole, interrupting me and saying, have you got your audio problem sorted? Like you're the producer of this show. You're not. Make your fucking claim or piss off.
All right. So now, without any more problem, your issue is that you're trying to figure out what the stars are made of, and it is irrelevant. And I'm going to explain to you why your focus on what they're made of has nothing to do with how they move about the sky. The fact is that the stars are far enough away to where their apparent motions in the sky follow a pattern that can only be visible on a globe. You cannot see the southern axis of star rotations anywhere on your flat Earth in a sensible manner. In fact, I'll ask you, where on your large flat Earth encompassing Antarctica would I have to be to see the southern the southern axis of star rotation overhead?
Have you finished?
Oh, yes, I'm finished. Please answer.
Right. You are guilty of quite a few fallacies. Firstly, you have begged...
We're done. I'm not in the mood for your bullshit. I'm not. I asked a simple question and I want a simple answer. Put me on mute. We're done. I can't. You know what?
Leave. Coward.
So,
Nathan.
he's offered us a false dichotomy and 2 affirming the consequent formological fallacies that regard models. He's also offered up a straw man fallacy because he's presented a model that apparently we have, even though we've not presented any models. So he's got a straw man fallacy model that we don't use. He's got his own begging the question fallacy model of a globe that apparently it's the only thing it can work on when he assumes we're on a globe. And then he's got a false dichotomy where he holds up both of these models in opposition to each other, and claims that these lights that aren't important in terms of what they are only work on his model. So, begging the question, straw man and false dichotomy fallacies, all rolled into one big fat cigar. So what, you won't tolerate me pointing out that you're using logical fallacies and a multiple thereof? What, you're done with us? Yeah, you can sod off. You're a useless twat. Go away. 300 people plus watching. Wow. Holy moly.
Yeah, Nathan, that's what I was trying to say. Why is it always they trying to make claims on what we should see?
I'm just so chuffed. It's the first time I've got to press that button. 300 people watching. Whoa.
Well, I like their other primary tactic when they get
You're
cornered.
not able to answer simple questions.
What's the simple question I can't answer?
Hi, Mom. The one I asked right at the very beginning. But you determined that you must know what the sun is before we can make any observations of it.
Yeah, like the size of it. For example, we went through this in great detail why we'd need to know it with Babs and explained about the difference between angular size and actual size and not knowing the actual size. Did you not pay attention to any of that, Highlander? Because we did address it. Clearly you just didn't understand it.
It could be because you had me completely muted.
Yeah, you couldn't shut up.
So I couldn't,
You wouldn't shut up.
say anything.
You wouldn't shut up. I didn't expect you to be able to say anything. I expected you to be able to listen. Maybe I saw your light flashing while we were talking, though, so I know damn well that you were trying to talk. Yeah? So you weren't listening. I'll say it again. I have no doubt that you won't listen for a second time. We don't know how big that light in the sky is. We only have its angular size, aka not actual size. There was then a comparison given between a torch, quite close, and a motorbike headlight quite far away. Now, although it wasn't explicitly stated, the assumption in my example is that they have the same angular size. So you wouldn't know which one was the torch and which one was the motorbike light because you don't know based on angular size. So when I ask what something is, there's a more deep, pressing question that's going to come later. It just didn't get there because you're stupid.
So because you don't know what the sun is and you don't know what the angular size is, then, and you don't know what it's made of, that means we can't ask a question about the light that it emits that we know it emits.
And what's this useful for again?
You what?
Is it back to we
Because
see the light in the sky?
You presuppose that we live on a flat Earth that's not moving. So if it's flat, I should be able to go outside with a telescope at night when it's dark here and see the light, not the sun, but the light that it emits.
Sorry, I'll just try again. This is the third time, Highlander. So, to ascertain whether or not you could see something, a light in this example, you would need to know how big and how far that light is. Your declaration that based on a straw man representation of what you think we think the flat earth is, you say the torch above it, analogous to these shitty FE models, would only light half, but I'd be able to zoom in with a telescope. Wrong. We would need the actual size and actual distance to calculate that. But we have neither. We don't even know what it is. Now let's not reverse this into because I don't know. No, you're the one making a claim. Your claim is useless because you don't have the details about what you're making the claim in regards to, i.e. this light in the sky and its actual size and actual distance. Hence the housekeeping question. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? No. But yet you're going to declare what it will and won't do on a straw man model because you are stupid and cannot listen. I'll add that this is the third time this has been explained on this stream, and you've been here the whole time. Maybe repeat that we shouldn't see it on a flat Earth and demonstrate for the 4th time just how stupid you are, Highlander. Go.
Well, okay, let me say this. I'm not looking to see the sun, Nathan. Do you get? Can you grasp that point?
So what? Can I grasp that in your example about the sun, you're not looking at the sun? You are more than one level needing institutionalizing. So we're not talking about the sun in your example about the sun and what it does. Are you really this stupid?
So I need to find where the sun is to be able to see the light that it emits.
What is it? Do you realise that every time I ask that question, there's a long, protracted silence? Last time you said, no, there wasn't any silence. Yet you don't know what the hell it is, how far it is, or how big it is. That's the 4th time.
Right, so you're saying that I need to know all these things to know that the sun lights up the earth.
Are you a broken record?
He's dumb. He's dumb as shit. It won't sink in. He can't comprehend it. He's too stupid to comprehend it. These are the people that piss me off royally. You explain it to them over and over again. They're just too stupid to understand.
No, Nathan, I'm looking for the light, not the sun, but the light.
He's right. Yeah, he's exactly right. You're a moron.
You don't understand because you're too stupid.
If I shine a torch on a wall, and I want to see the light.
Don't want to listen to this shit anymore. You're thick. End of your time here, thicko. Come back tomorrow with a decent argument. Can't comprehend simple explanations about actual versus angular size, the apparent distance we ask for daily. When we asked that question the last 1,000th times, he didn't listen or comprehend the reason for the question. If he did, if anybody that came here comprehended the rationale behind those housekeeping questions, they wouldn't ask some of the stupid questions they ask or make some of the declarations they make. So it's apparently obvious immediately as soon as he starts asking us about anything to do with the sun and trying to use that as an example of proving his sphericity, he's going to be made to look stupid pretty quickly. We wouldn't have the housekeeping questions so concisely formulated. They seem so benign. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? Oh, that seems fairly benign. Yeah, till some dipshit comes along and starts asserting what the sun should or shouldn't do on a representation of a flat model versus his globe. Yeah, that's going to be ripped apart damn quickly.
Yep. I was waiting for you to get done with him and Babs, and I was going to introduce that flattened whatever guy, but he just couldn't hold his tongue. I think he finished the glue he was eating and the markers he was sniffing.
He's hard to control, yeah.
His arguments are
so
weak.
Now when we ask him what the sun is made of. Has anyone noticed that?
Sorry, John.
I have.
It's funny.
Didn't hear your question. Notice what's made of.
When you asked him what is the sun made of, for the past 3.5 years, they would just blurt out, right? We know what the sun is made of. Spectroscopy, hydrogen and helium. Notice how he didn't say anything.
No, just a long pause.
Yeah, you're getting smarter, you doofuses, because we're waiting for you to say it.
Getting thinner and thinner, the belief that they can base their expression of this idea to us with is thinner and thinner and thinner by the day. The arguments are whittling down. I don't know if you heard earlier, based on my interaction with Globe Busters, I essentially discredited their assessment of what they presented in the ring laser or fibre optic gyroscope based on its lack of scientific validity. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. At the time I was so focused on the double-edged sword being used on one of essentially my own, if you will, flat earther. Well, I haven't used that edge of the sword on any globe head. So why aren't we asking for scientific evidence of axial rotation?
Scientific evidence of axial rotation. Is that a cause and effect question?
Yeah, they asserted, or Babs and somebody else, that's why we're talking about the sun. That's kind of my lead back to the beginning of how it started out. So the assertion being, I need to beg the question that Earth is spinning because I see the sun moving. That's about as concise as I can make it.
Yeah, but it's not whether the Earth is spinning or not is a what is question, not a cause and effect question.
Au contraire, I observe the phenomena of the sun moving. I assume the cause of that effect is that the Earth is rotating. The Earth rotating causes the sun to move. That phenomena of the sun moving is caused by Earth rotation. This is a cause and effect question that they're asserting.
So they're I see how they did that. Yeah, by itself in a vacuum, no pun intended, the spinning Earth is a what is question. But I don't know. Are they saying that the sun is moving? I'm not getting it. Say that one more time.
Let's use one that's been actually posted 1,000 times in my comment section. The cause of ring laser gyro drift is Earth rotation. That would be a cause and effect relationship. I appreciate you can say no dependent variable, I appreciate, but they are still asserting a cause and effect relationship.
Yeah, I see it there, but I don't see it in the other scenario. Don't give another scenario. Let's do it with the sun.
Okay. I assert that the phenomena, my dependent variable, is the movement of that light in the sky. That's my phenomenon. We agreed? That's a phenomenon?
Okay, yeah, got it. Yep.
Well, what causes that to happen? What causes that light to move in the sky? That's a question, a causally related question, would you not agree?
Yes, it would be in that scenario, yes.
Okay, but there's multitudes of examples where a drifting, apparently drifting pendulum is caused by Earth rotation. Again, that would be asserting cause and effect, would it not?
Yes.
A ring laser gyro or fiber optic gyro processes because Earth rotates underneath. That's a cause and effect relationship being asserted, is it not?
Yes.
So I don't feel unjustified, given that the seemingly legitimate claims to prove that Earth is spinning with seemingly scientific validity are assessing cause and effect relationships. Therefore, it's not unjustified to ask for scientific evidence of Earth rotation.
Yeah, I think there's a little switch going on there. It's early in the morning.
We'll have a think. Yeah. I haven't phrased it that way as yet.
Give me a little bit of time.
Well,
I'll
now
think about
you know
it.
how Ptolemy and Aristarchus would have felt, Nathan.
What, when they didn't have any science?
You know what I mean?
Not really. What do you mean?
Well, Ptolemy had the geocentric model, right? So he would have come under close scrutiny back in his day, I'm sure, before Discord. There probably were people like at him going, "Oh, you're an idiot, you know, you're a thicko," and all this sort of stuff. And then Aristarchus steams in with this heliocentric, you know, shout out to Pete Shea. It's probably why he always mentions that guy. Because Aristarchus, according to Carl Sagan, is the one who steamed in with the heliocentrism, and everyone went with it. But
who was first?
Before that,
or Ptolemy?
Yeah, but before that, you had a geocentric and an Earth, you know, central
Wait a second.
to the whole thing and everything revolving around it.
Can you ask your question again, QE?
Yes, who was first? Aristarchus, in their paradigm, in their history, who was first, Aristarchus or Ptolemy? Give me the years.
Ptolemy. Aristarchus came later.
Aristarchus was later than 150 AD? Really?
Well, if you go through Carl Sagan's Cosmos, that's what he says. Yeah.
It wasn't
the other way around.
There.
Well, Ptolemy didn't come after Aristarchus.
Oh, really? I said, give me the years, the proposed years that these gentlemen lived.
Fortunately, this is going to end up getting discussed in the after show. So with a completely broken camera, I'm going to say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat. Quick shout outs to Rambo Jambo, who says over 300 watching. Nathan, you're brilliant and Canada loves you. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed, Rambo Jambo. And it's unfortunate, but the last super chat always seems to not quite be readable. So I'll just see if I can scroll up through the chat to find Dave Rakia Gaffords. I'll pass and go on mute as you say it, Nathan. Say it, lol, Rakia Life. 4 more hours. So yes, indeed, there may very well be exactly that if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream. But another massive shout out and thank you to Dave Rakia Gafford for smashing the super chat. Once again, as I say, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley, stay tuned. Thanks again to all of the debating panel in both Discord and G+, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!